Welcome back to the Foundation. This is Swaytove, and someone asked me, "How do you start to make a beat?" And it's like I don't know why I don't record everything that I do. Is because I'm just sitting here making it, right? So this is what I did, and we're gonna take a listen through, and then I'm gonna talk about what I did. Okay, because it's very simple, but if you want to start it out, then I can help you. I would like to think to a degree, all right. But I am not that good at finishing beats because I always feel like there's something missing. I always want to put more sounds in. Basically, it's because the artistic side of me wants to put, or I imagine lyrics over it, and I can imagine like a flow switch and all that stuff, and that requires like maybe a change up in the drums, like mid song, or something different with the melody or something. Just some different things that like I failed to incorporate in my stuff. But this is what I have. I just like made it a little bit ago. Nothing special, all right. So, firstly, I'm gonna start off by saying that there is no right way to start a beat. All right. When I first started making music, is what I'm gonna say. I did it all from scratch. I didn't use any samples like I've recently started doing. Okay, and unbeknownst to me, I was actually making my own samples based off of the melody that I was making and adding effects. Okay, but there's different ways to start a beat. Much how there's different ways to solve a puzzle. And I think that you can think of the beat that you're making as a puzzle, but it doesn't have to be hard. Maybe you just need to find like your formula. But you shouldn't try to find your formula from listening to someone else of how they make their beats. It's because you might have a particular sound that can only be complemented by certain like types of drums or a certain pattern or something like that. Yet this whole time you're trying to make like a trap song. You know what I mean? Like when I first started making music, listen to my older music videos or videos that I uploaded, right? Very different from what I'm trying to work on now, right? So that's first and foremost. And a good way to try to find your sound is probably trying to create your own sound. Now, I have installed a Troya Pigments. I've paid for that and stuff like that. And I like to design sounds from scratch, hence the Foundation. Is because it allows you to explore the soundscape and it just like what sticks with you. What do you think you can work with? All right, and off of that, what can you build off of? Is because a beat is limited, a couple of minutes, but sound is infinite. So you have your own sound that you're trying to condense into a beat, to be honest, if you can think of it that way. All right, and I don't know what your sound is. Don't think that your sound is a Travis Scott type sound, Little Uzi Vert type sound, or Future type sound. You know what I mean? That's not what it is. Maybe you're ambient, maybe you're emotional, maybe you're dark or something like that. You can add certain twists and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, trying to make a beat is also the beat, the drums and the rhythm. So you can start melodically or you can start rhythmically. And melodically, as hopefully you guys have already seen in other videos, is a snare hitting on the 3 and the 7 and having a bouncy kick and stuff like that. Something like this, a snare hitting on like 3 and the 7 and a couple other hits in between. But I'll count it out. And when you hear me say 3 and 7, you're going to hear that, the snare's hitting on those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You hear me? So it's like the 3 and the 7 is important for that beat that you're trying to start. Okay? And the hi hats, depending on how fast your BPM is, can be every 2, but every 4 is a good start. And like this is if you're rhythmic, you know what I'm saying? Dun dun. I'm actually gonna change this now. Dun dun. Okay. So I mean, so there you go. But also, if you have a problem with the rhythm and you have a problem with making your own melodies based off of chords and stuff like that, because that is another way you can start, your beat, you can use samples. All right. Much how I said that I've started to use just recently, literally a couple days, um, just to see and explore what I could do. And like I said, I was making my own unbeknownst to me, but also I just downloaded Splice. Now with Splice, you can look through it. You literally can like find the key, the speed of your beat, and all that stuff, and get it real dialed into what you have. You can also learn to manipulate these samples to stretch it out to make it sound different pitch and stuff like that. But those are videos you can look up, all right? Because these are those things that I'm trying to perfect myself. But the samples, dragging and dropping them into your arrangement makes it much easier because it gives you a guide. So it's just like this right here, for example. Listen to this sample. Right? Sounds nice and ambient, and it's just like, whoa, maybe there is like some drums we can fit over that. And the thing is, like, already with these samples, there's already the tone. You know what I'm saying? It's already in key. You know? So it's just like you can just add the drums to it, and hopefully, if you have an ear to it, you might be able to add other instruments. The thing is that I hum these type of pluck melodies and stuff out is because like in string melodies as well is because there's not always the samples that you have, and this comes with a certain type of intuition, right? If you're good at melodies, I'm melodic. It's like, well, what else do I want to hear? I think there should be more sounds, so I end up drawing on my own melodies. And luckily for me, it's just because I have a background in just playing instruments when I was younger. It stuck with me, and you know, I sung choir when I was in high school and stuff like that. And that, listen, having a musical background is helpful too, right? But if you don't, it's just like, well, hey, you can start with samples to get the keys and the BPMs and stuff like that. You can put the things together if you have an ear for it, right? And there's something else too. Like there's another video that I made. You should watch that. It's because I talked about certain things. If I even uploaded it, it's previous. It's like how not to quit or something. I forget, right? But it's just like the intro, the start of your beat is like the first 8 bars. What I have highlighted right here, something that grabs the person's attention, you know. And it's just like it depends like what type of beat it is, I suppose. If it's something hard and stuff like that, like if you're trying to make a Future type beat, it doesn't really need, well, he can rap on a lot of type of beats, but it's just like, I don't even know how to explain it. You don't need to have so much build up. You can just start off with something hard, you know what I mean? But I like ambience, you know, whatever. So it's just like you want to introduce stuff in within this 8 bar period. You can have it 16 if you don't believe anyone's going to get bored. But it's just like, it's like, see how I have like in the first 4, I just have like these sounds in here. And then before I get to the next 4, I introduce the violin. It's like a transition sound. And then I start the violin the whole way through. You know what I'm saying? And there's other ways to transition and stuff like that. I'm still trying to get better at it. But it's just like after this is when your beat starts. Like starting the beat, I don't think it's difficult. It's just like trying to find your sound, right? Because the beat is just drums, right? Like I feel like this. If you're bad at rhythm, pin tapping and all that stuff, maybe switch to the melody. If you're bad at melody, maybe switch to like the beat. If you're bad at both of them, then it's just like I'm sure there's tools to help you, right? Like Splice, all this cool stuff. You can even ask ChatGPT how to start a beat. I'm not gonna lie, but it's just like maybe try to find your sound first. That's important instead of trying to make like a Memphis type beat or something like that. Well, that's all I got.